On July 8, 2023, treasures from the Yangtze River estuary. The ongoing scientific archaeology of the Yangtze River estuary, number 2, was put on display in the Shanghai History Museum. Last November, since the ancient shipwreck Yangtze River Estuary number 2 was salvaged in the Yangtze River Estuary. The ship's components and more than 100 pieces of ceramics in it were exposed to the public for the first time.
这个整个画面中心就是高士在教导士子们在读书的这样一个场景，而且这一件文物也是保存的比较完好的出水文物当中。
比较完，相对来说比较全面，或者说比较多样的一个景德镇陶瓷的一个日用瓷的一个面貌，或者贸易瓷的一个面貌。
As the currently largest and most well-preserved ancient wooden sailboat discovered in China, with plenty of artifacts in it, the recovery of these ceramics serves as a time capsule, vividly depicting the flourishing navigation scenes along the Yangtze River since the Ming and Qing dynasty. It stands as a significant testament to the maritime Silk Road. On July 29, 2023, on the occasion of the 10th anniversary of the Belt and Road Initiative, our film crew came to the Kwendu sites in the northern suburbs of Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. In the decorations of this 16th century Arab aristocratic burial site, we saw exquisite ceramics from China for the first time.
Yeah, in this site of Kunduchi, this is one of the surviving best preserved tomb that indicate our early connection with China. You can see that bowl, typical Chinese of the Ming Dynasty period. The production of this type of ceramics is during the 18th century onward.
According to Professor Amandus of the University of Dar es Salaam, Chinese navigator Zheng He conducted 7 large-scale ocean voyages in the early Ming Dynasty, reaching as far as the East African coast, including Kenya and Tanzania. Although there are no relevant documents mentioning the exact location of Zheng He's fleet in East Africa, beneath the giant baobab tree at the Kwendu sites, the Chinese ceramics, weathering the vicissitudes of time, embedded in the pillars of Arab aristocratic tombs, serve as a testimony to the trade connections between this medieval city and the Ming-Qing dynasty during that era.
Few Chinese were coming, but majority of the rich people who settled here were importing and buying this expensive Chinese product. And the display of this bowl here, it is a sign of status, the status of the owner of this tomb. It indicates the wealth, the political power that the Sultan owned. Some of them have been looted.
From these archaeological discoveries, it is evident that the East African coast was another end market for Chinese ceramics outside of Europe. Ceramics completed decommodification here, with tomb decorations finally emerging as a way of consumption.
This is a little section where we store these precious early Chinese ceramics. This one you see here belongs to the 18th century AD and is coming from Kunduchi site.
In the collection storage of the National Museum of Tanzania, we not only saw hundreds of collections of ceramics from China, but also found this blue and white porcelain plate with the Chinese character Shou, unearthed from the Kwendu site.
The character here, Shou, meaning long life, in the center, and with the design of the inside wall believed to derive from Mongolian scripts. So this is believed to be derived from Mongolian script, and the meaning in English is long life, show.
Spanning over thousands of kilometers after returning to China, our film crew also found in the collection of Professor Cao Jianwen of JiangxiDaily Ceramic University this blue and white porcelain plate from the Qianlong period of the Qing dynasty, with the Chinese character shou.
那么这种寿字盘呢，我们一般都称为梵文寿字盘。那么主要是它边上是以梵文呢来装饰的。
According to Professor Cao Jianwen, this type of blue and white porcelain plates, symbolizing beauty and auspiciousness in traditional Chinese culture, was highly popular during the Ming and Qing dynasties. They not only enjoyed massive sales in the domestic market, but were also widely exported overseas. We can often find them in related remains both domestically and internationally.
在坦桑尼亚，同时呢，我们在肯尼亚也可以看到这样的习俗，就是用我们的青花瓷器的大盘，经常都用来装饰在他们的木柱的这个上面，贴在上面。
所以我们看，在东非地区，我们看到了，从明中期开始，弘治正德开始就景德镇的青花瓷就成为主流的外销产品了。
Since the Sui and Tang dynasties, China's shipbuilding and maritime technologies have steadily progressed. The sea lane was opened, which therefore facilitated sea transportation. A large number of Chinese silk, tea, and porcelain were exported as far as Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and were eventually transported to the East African coast and the Mediterranean. The maritime transportation channel connecting the world trade of East Asia, West Asia, and the Mediterranean has historically been known as the Maritime Silk Road. Silk, tea, and porcelain were the three major commodities exported by China through the Silk Road. However, silk and tea were consumed at last. Although porcelain also suffered a loss due to its delicate nature, it has been substantially preserved by its durable material, making it the primary physical evidence along the Silk Road.
这是东印度公司的徽表，这是巴洛克风格的，非常显赫的一个家族的徽表。国外的那个一些名门望族啊，为了买到景德镇陶瓷，那是费尽心机。
On October 18, 2023, at the annual China JiangxiDaily International Ceramic Expo, the JiangxiDaily export porcelain collections, especially the Clark porcelain, attracted great attention.
等于说，瓷器作为了一种我们汉字的载体，输送到国外，那同时也是把我们的中国文化带到了国外人的面前。
As one of the major overseas markets from the 16th to the 18th century, Europe has experienced chinoiserie for over 300 years. Chinese ceramics became a luxury among European royalty, nobility, and the upper class, therefore earning its name, white gold.
那么小的都烧坏了，这么大的还这么完美。
The name Clark porcelain originated from a Portuguese merchant ship called the Clark, captured at sea by the Dutch East India Company in 1602. As physical evidence of the cultural changes between the East and the West during the Ming and Qing dynasties. These ceramics not only reflected the maritime trade at that time, but also had a profound impact on the local culture and social life.
那么在18世纪之前，他们是没有瓷器的，他们只是有陶，而金属器皿呢，它不容易清洁，而且价格昂贵。大量的外销瓷进入到欧美国家之后呢，他们发现瓷器呢，它坚固、耐用、易于清洁，可以说它改变了欧美的这个生活，特别是饮食的习惯。
In 1513 AD, after the first Portuguese merchant ship arrived at the port of Guangzhou, China, Chinese porcelain began to enter the European market in large quantities.
To specify the figures. So
According to economists, from 1550 to 1800, as many as 186 million pieces of porcelain were exported from East Asia to Europe.
And they imported the so-called Kalake porcelain, usually very big plates. And we can also see some Dutch paintings from the 16th and 17th century displaying Chinese porcelain with fruits inside.
During the European Renaissance, the founder of the Italian Venetian school, Giovanni Bellini, created the oil painting The Feast of the Gods in 1540. While Chinese people might not be very familiar with the myth of Western culture, the three well-designed and delicate blue and white porcelain pieces in the painting are particularly eye-catching.
这个是应该也是一个卷草青花卷草纹跟青花牡丹传之莲的一个图案。那么这些图案呢，在元青花和明代的永宣时期的青花当中大量的使用，而且画的呢档次最高，它不是普通的家庭，它是诸各路神仙在一起聚会，聚会过程当中用上了景德镇高贵的陶瓷。
The production, transportation, and trade of Chinese export porcelain span nearly 1,000 years of history, covering the Tang, Song, Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasties. Its places of origin spread across China. At the peak period of porcelain production in the Ming and Qing dynasties, Jingdezhen, Jiangxi province, is the main production area for Chinese export porcelain. These ceramic products of various shapes and designs are not only world commodities in the process of globalization, but are also the greatest wealth, which is made in China and spread to the world.
这三件呢是从这个上海的这个长江口2号古船遗址出水的3块瓷片。好，这是一个喜字纹的一个罐盖，这是寿字纹的一个折腹碗，它这个腹是往里面折的。
Since last June, Jingdezhen Imperial Kiln Institute, based on a large number of ceramic fragments excavated in the past 4 decades, has established the world's first systematic ancient ceramic gene database. The major work of ceramic expert Xiong Zhe and his team is to make specimens from ceramic pieces unearthed at archaeological sites. By analyzing the genetic data, they can restore the ceramic technology in relevant years.
一部分呢，我们能够丰富我们这个基因库的这个年代序列。那么更进一步的呢，我们就能够对当时这个外销的一些状况，然后呢，对它这个文化交流的一些这个情况进行进一步的分析和研究。
所以我们也希望能够把我们长江口2号的出水文物能够纳入到这个古陶瓷基因库的研究当中。我们通过跟景德镇当地的这种陶土出土品进行比较研究。 能够为我们了解景德镇瓷器的生产、流通、贸易的状况提供更多的这样一个证据。
The archaeological excavation and exhibition of the Yangtze River Estuary No. 2 are in progress. More stories about the maritime Silk Road and Chinese ceramics are waiting to be discovered. Cross time and transcend borders. The Jingdezhen ceramics, with its unique charm as an Eastern treasure and a global chic, captivate people around the world.
他是美国前总统老布什夫妇钻石婚找我们定制的一款日用瓷餐具。
我们专门为塔吉克斯坦定制了这套具有民族特色的茶具。
我真的很喜欢青花瓷的作品，我觉得他们很有意思，因为在土耳其，我们的青花作品和你们的青花作品有太多的关系，所以我觉得“一带一路”很重要的，今天也很重要的，因为我们可以 connect 其他的国家。
I feel that I am live with my family. I am not feel I'm strange. Everything was nice. Everything was beautiful. The people very kindly, very hospitality. Here, I think I breathe art and ceramic.
A piece of ceramics spanned thousands of years, while the civilization it carried traversed mountains and seas, from archaeological sites at the Yangtze River estuary to ceramic pieces excavated from folk kilns.
它这个纹饰非常清楚。
From the European courts of the Renaissance to royal tombs on the African continent, and from the ancient Silk Road to the Belt and Road Initiative of today. The interplay of clay and fire has created breathtaking ceramic treasures. They build a solid bridge for trade between the East and the West, and mutual learning among civilizations, and tell numerous Silk Road stories to the people.